Race 1 on the final day at Cheltenham. Day 4 of the Cheltenham Festival, the JCB Triumph Hurdle. 2 miles, 1 furlong, grade 1. 5 key stats. Nicky Henderson has trained 7 winners since 1985. 4 of the last 6 winners were French bred. 3 of the last 33 winners had only one previous race in Ireland and the UK. 11 of the last 16 winners have been in the top 4 in the betting. So definitely look at the head of the market for this. 17 of the last 18 winners have raced on the flat over the distance of 1 mile and 4 furlongs. So you need to stay on the flat, it seems, for the JCB Triumph Hurdle. I will give you guys a quick show of the betting. Zanahyir, 7-4, Gordon Elliott. French Seal, Willie Mullins, was impressive for the Holdens. Has since been bought by the Donnellys, 6-1. Adagio, I think, holds an entry this weekend for the Pipes. Mike Vince at 8-1. Duffelcoat, this horse stays very well. 10-1 is a course winner for Gordon Elliott. Quilixios is 10-1. Tritonic was a winner this last weekend, gone for Alan King. 12-1. Nasalam is 14-1. Humidor fell at the last. That Fairy House is a 16-1 chance. Hador 20-1. It is 20-1. The rest. Yeah, the Irish form looks a lot better, I think, in this race. Davy Boland and Zanahyir. I think this fella could be very good.
Yeah, I hate this race, to be honest.
You like Davy Russell?
Yeah.
Shouldn't have given the Triumph Hurdle to a point-to-point man, Davy Boland.
No, I just find it always, it's very, very tough to gauge. Just, you know what Ronan said about bumpers. I know it's completely different, but just it's very hard. They've all made a lot of the money of 1-2 runs over hurdles, and they've come off the flat. It's very hard to gauge them. Zanahyir has been very impressive. French Seal, who you mentioned, is now gone to Willie Mullins. He bolted up in Leopardstown for Dennis O'Regan, but what did he beat either? He probably bet nothing, really. The horse that was second was 4th in Punchestown last Monday. A horse that I do like, I've seen a good few of them run. Like Gordon has a massive strong hand in this now. Very, very strong. But a horse I do like, he won a Kempton at Christmas, called Heroes de Sul for Nicky Henderson. He's a big price. I'd back him now each way because he's entered there to run on Friday and Saturday, which I'd say he'll run on Saturday in Cheltenham, take on David Pipe's horse. So we'll see. Because if he does win that, he won't be 25-1. So I take a chance on that price now of him. I just thought he was very impressive. A lot of them are. Like Tritonic was good as well. So many of these are impressive winning. But I thought he was very good. I liked him in Kempton at Christmas for Henderson. It's interesting, actually. Sure, the Donnellys own him as well. It'll be interesting. I'll take a chance on him at the price and see what happens at the weekend, because Pipe's horse is a very good yardstick. Duffelcoat beat him as well. A couple of Gordons are probably better than Duffelcoat, but yeah, it's interesting that way. See what happens the weekend. But other than that, I wouldn't have much of an opinion.
Interesting. Ronan Groome, unbeaten. Zanahyir, very likely race on the flat for the Aga Khan. Came from the Halford Yard, has won over 1 mile and 4 on the flat. Classy type, jumps well. Has jumped well on both occasions, and I thought he done very well to win at Christmas because it was a slow run race. Didn't think that it's him. I think the harder to go, the better this fella will be. I really do like the chance of him. He's 11-4 best price, and he at this stage, I think he'll win at Leopardstown if he goes there. And at this stage, I think he's one of the bets of the festival. Of the short price favourites, I like him at 11-4.
He does go to Leopardstown. Barry was speaking to Gordon earlier on. Gordon said he's definitely going to run Zanahyir and Quilixios in the spring juvenile. So that will be his kind of lead-up run into Cheltenham. And yeah, by all means, I think he'll be a short price to win at Leopardstown. And in that case, may end up a short price here. He's done nothing wrong, as you said. He's 3 out of 3. I thought the Fairy House run where he beat the Mullins horse was borderline, real top class. They've come miles clear. What he did on the clock that day was really impressive on a grade 1 card. His time compared really, really well with the other races. Look, I think Gordon must be just kind of rubbing his hands together with his juveniles, because he's had 15 wins with his juvenile hurdlers this season, and Dufflecoat, which Davy kind of suggested might be a bit down the pecking order. I'm not sure if that's completely fair. I guess we learn in time where Dufflecoat is compared to the other Elliott juveniles, but he beat Adagio, who looks the best British horse. He gave him £6 and a 5-length beating at Cheltenham, and I think that's quite significant for the Irish form. So if Gordon thinks he has Zanahyir and the likes of Quilixios, who in fairness, shouldn't be forgotten about Quilixios.
Can I stop you there? Would it be the danger with Dufflecoat that he could get outpaced early in the race and leave himself with too much to do? I don't know, did you see his last 2 runs, and he came from miles back in both of them. And a very strong stare, but that'd be just my one concern. He clearly has a lot of ability.
Yeah, he does, yeah. But I mean, you need a stayer. Most of the Triumph Hurdle horses are stayers, aren't they? And he beat Adagio, who seems is a shorter price than him now. And he beat him and gave him £6. And Adagio's a Grade 1 winner over hurdles now. I just think that's pretty solid form. And I was just talking about Quilixios there. He won his race at Down Royal there with 20 lengths. That was really impressive at the time, and he seems to be forgotten about now just because Zanahyir has done what he's done. But he'll get a chance. He'll get his chance at Leopardstown next weekend to prove his worth. As is always the case, Willie Mullins is always lurking around Gordon Elliott, and he's obviously got French Seal now, who's brilliantly bought by Michael Holden over in France, and couldn't have been more impressive winning that maiden at Leopardstown that often throws up a really good horse. Sir Eric won it a couple of years ago, and probably would have won the Triumph Hurdle that year, but for that terrible accident. And Ivanovic Gorbatov won that maiden hurdle as well. It's probably as good as trial race for the Triumph as the Grade 2 on the Leopardstown meeting as well. And the one maybe just to give a shout to from the Mullins yard was Umdor, who I think was just looming up to beat Gordon's horse T-Upu at Fairyhouse when he came down at last. And
he was most certainly going to win, wasn't he?
He was definitely going to win, and T-Upu went on and won by 15 lengths. Umdor, I
with the Boodles winner back and forth, Ronan Groome.
Yeah.
Autumn evening.
Yeah, autumn evening. Yeah. Umdor's going to get his chance, I think, in the Spring Juvenile as well, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. He ran really well there. Owned by the McNeils. I think I see him run a big race. He's around 16 to 1. I wouldn't put anyone off him. I think to come down to one, Barry Quilixios, I think is the price now that interests me the most. I think he's a bit of a forgotten horse, and gets his chance at Leopardstown. I wouldn't be surprised if he ran a huge race there. And even if he didn't win at Leopardstown, it's not a huge thing. Gordon obviously trained Farclas to finish second in that race and then go on and win at Cheltenham. And that's the type of race it is. These are 4-year-olds with 2 and 3 runs over hurdles. They're progressing very fast. So I wouldn't be hugely down on any of them if they finished, second or third and had the kind of form to progress again at Cheltenham. So Quilixios for me.
Can I just nip in with one here? Only because I'm chuckling. We're fishing in the dark.
Mike Finn, say it again. Mike. That just broke up a little bit. Come in there again.
I'm just chuckling listening to this, only because obviously we're working totally in the dark on this race because of the lack entries, or we don't even know what's entered, let alone anything else. But the Racing Post have put amongst the possible entries a horse called Aaron Navian, trained by Aidan O'Brien and a third in the Derby. Now, were that to turn up,
Don Risington there as well.
There's all sorts of things, but Aaron Navian.
Does he still have the crown jewels, Aaron Navian? Named like that, I'm sure he has. Yeah. Mentioned for a horse that I suppose put up my 20 horses to follow blog at the start of the year, and it's trained by Davy Cotton, and it is priced up at 33 to 1, and he disappointed in France in the second one. He was actually very impressive in France. JP bought him.
Mika
Malpic. I would just I'd keep an eye on him now. I'm not sure what's happened there. Jason, we've had him on the podcast a couple of times last year, but I definitely put him in the tracker. I think he likes him, so that's Mika Malpic at 33 to 1. I'm not sure if he's going to line up in here. He mightn't even see him this season, but I'd encourage people to go back and look at his first run actually over herds before JP bought him. He's quite a good jumper, and I think they liked him obviously, and JP has forked out a few quid. So Mika Mal pick 1 certainly for the tracker.